A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
Welcome one and all high atop what used to be called Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the 2022 version of the track. It is the high-banked Super Speedway, still 1.54 miles around, but the speeds are picked up and the sun is going down, and that can only mean that it is getting ready to be time for Season 2 2025, round number 11. It is the Race Day Mobile Detailing 150 here this evening for the fourth time in series history. Welcome aboard, one and all. It's Tommy Cook. It's Joshua Motichek, partner. Welcome to the mini Super Speedway. For all intents and purposes, what we're seeing tonight, it is Super Speedway racing.
Yeah, definitely glad to be back. And I got to be honest, Tommy, I'm really liking the couple races that we got that have some pretty nice race names to them. Definitely has a nice sound coming off the lips. But yeah, super excited to be here. I know Venom put on a very great show here, the end of Season 9. Very close at the line, so definitely looking for a very, very, very close finish here tonight as well.
We've had 3 barn burners here in the past with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. No reason that we can't have another one here this evening as, whoops, I forgot to upload the points. Here comes the magic of television right here. Bam! Here's this week's points. Dakota Floyd atop the heap. That number should be in green here within the next couple of weeks, as he'll be the first one to lock in above the cut line. A tie for second, Nathan Carroll and Greg Mall. Mall, the defending winner here at Atlanta 22. Divert your attention to the tie for 12th. I will say last time that we had a tie at the cut line, they just allowed both drivers to advance. But as of now, the way we have the tie broken is how NASCAR actually does it, with Jack Watts having the best finish out of the two this season. But I think a tie at the cut line and how close a lot of these numbers are just goes to show how in flux things are still with 5 rounds to go before the playoffs.
Yeah, I think last week was a pretty good shakeup for the points. It definitely turns things on its head as you move into these last few races. I mean, Greg Mall and Nathan Carroll tied for second. I mean, no better feeling going into it than knowing that you're right there with a previous champion as well.
And to point out as well, the driver down there in P16 has missed 3 races this season, Jared Wishon. That just goes to show you how much of a tear that he is on to even be on the graphic at all, let alone only be 9 points out of the postseason. A couple of drivers still above this cut line will continue to fall out as their participation is done for the year. So it is really going to set up a tantalizing battle here for these drivers that are looking for postseason berths. As we welcome in everybody that is hanging out in the chat. And we head over to qualifying now. We're about halfway through. And we will see who's on track. It's going to be a full field here this evening. Out of practice, we had 42 drivers on track in practice. We'll see if a couple more hop in here late. As we want to welcome in everybody in the chat. Robin Motichek, Daniel Carroll, Twisted Drifters Rob Martin, and Race Day Mobile Detailing and Coatings. It's the Race Day Mobile Detailing 150 here tonight. And like Joshua just mentioned, all the sponsored races this season thus far have been quite good. Quite very good, actually. Some of the best races that we've had this season. We go over to Aiden Kirker, runner-up finisher last week. 35 drivers have posted a qualifying time. Josh Longbonds is about to make it 36. Provisional pole right now belongs to Nathan Barrows. Aiden Kirker will go P11. James Lehman is taking the green flag right now, and Ryan Nardone is coming to the line to post a lap. 31:58 is the time that Nardone needs to beat. Nardone finally back on track. It was a rough few weeks in the middle portion of the regular season. Had a good run last week at Watkins Glen and is back on the left side of the points graphic. Only 32nd quickest for Nardone. And James Lehman will be the last driver to post a qualifying time here. Again, we bump at 43, but we've only got 42, and James Lehman just put himself on the outside pole. So nicely done for Lehman. So 39 drivers will take a time. Chris Voiles, Michael Van, and Scott Patton are the lone holdouts in that department. Want to thank our sponsor here this evening. Of course, Race Day Premium Detailing and Coatings. Race Day is a mobile detailing company that services Phoenix, Arizona, and the surrounding area, specializing in the art of paint restoration and ceramic coating, while also offering maintenance washes and a subscription program for those looking to keep up the appearance of their vehicle. It's been in business since 2013 and have managed Nathan Carroll's vehicles for almost 7 years. Tonight is the Race Day Premium Coatings 150 this evening at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the starting grid is set, and we are ready to roll to the green flag here this evening for 98 laps around Atlanta Motor Speedway. Nathan Barrows made his debut last week at Watkins Glen, and he will lead the field to green here tonight for the first time in his Max V career. James Lehman ran exceedingly well here last season, didn't come away with the dub, but he'll look to fix that tonight with an outside pole. Jordan Neese is always great on the super speedways. Nathan Carroll is still looking for that first win. He lines up on the outside of row number 2. Tyler Granat will round out your top 5 starters, and Michael Genus is one of 3 drivers who will make their Max V debut tonight. Heath Smith is back in the top 10, starting in 7th. Seth Foudy to his outside. C.J. McLaughlin and Will Kirk is back in the lineup here this evening. He'll start in the 10th position. Dakota Floyd, the reigning series champion, back on the win column last week at Watkins Glen. The driver that finished second to him will start to his outside on row number 6. Omar Rodriguez Jr. and the defending Atlanta winner, Greg Mall, second in the points coming into tonight, 14th on the starting grid. Billy Baumgartner, a super speedway winner last season, starts in 15th to the inside of Matt Rodolasso, coming off his best finish of the season last week at the Glen. Justin Michael back for the first time in 2 weeks. He was fastest in practice. He'll line up in 17th to the inside of Jack Watts. Rod Mitten and Chris Sargent round out your top 20 starters. Mason Sweet, another debutant here this evening, back in the 21st position to the inside of Joshua Fracker. Kyle Stewart, Kerry Cleaver, Zachary Grover, and Nick Pena back there in the 26th position, the third and final new driver here this evening. Tyler Hessling and Brad Slagle on row 14. It's Alex Allen and David Rigsby on row 15. Logan A. Murray back for the first time in a number of weeks in the 444 back at 31st. Trent Drum to his outside in 32nd. Row number 17 is Ryan Nardone on the inside of Josh Longbones. The People's Champion, Bill Paradise, back there in 35th to the inside of Rob Martin. Jared Wishon and Rob Haynes, the Super Speedway ace, starts in 38th. Previous winner here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Mike Milfeld Jr. back at 39th. Scott Patton in the 40th starting position. Chris Voiles and Michael Van, the rest of tonight's starting lineup. Drivers are rolling. Mr. Joshua Motichek, what are the strategy notes here, and what do you keep your eye on at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Yeah, so 81 degrees tonight. Definitely one of the cooler tracks that we have seen all season. I know usually we're running those day races. They'd be high on temperature, but especially here being a night race and being a super speedway, tires won't be too much of an issue. That being said, you do get 3 extra sets of tires. There are no fast repairs. Your incident limits do stand at 16 incidents is a drive-through, 21 is a disqualification. 70% fuel, we believe, should put the fuel window around lap 30 to 35 or so, depending on what kind of draft we're looking at. Those drivers in the back will be lifting a little bit more than the drivers leading. 98 laps is the full distance, which will put the stage break at the end of lap 29. A couple things to note. The pit entry is off of the backstretch now, so you cannot enter off of turn 4. You will get a black flag for that, as well as that red line outlined in white. You cannot cross that line unless you are coming to pit.
Lots to keep in mind here. Lots for these drivers to juggle as the green flag is out at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Great jump out front for Nathan Burrows. Tyler Granat also going to sneak in there up to second. Not sure if he'll get clear if he wants the outside or not. Lehman and Carroll going to come roaring back on the outside, coming off of 4. Carroll almost going to get clear and will and come down to the bottom.
Carroll to the inside of Lehman looking for the race lead. There's Michael Genius there in the 08. With Nathan Barrows there to his inside. 3 wide, not out of the question, but it is incredibly sketchy. 2 wide is the best bet, and even that. Even with these cooler track temperatures, I mean, this is still a decent tire degradation track. You're going to get a little bit loosey-goosey. This is definitely not one of the super speedway races where you don't want to take tires at any point.
Yeah, as super speedway as it does run, especially late in the stages, that outside line you're going to have to be lifting a little bit just to make it through without pushing up to the wall or getting too loose coming off of the exit.
The compound of this track surface was made specifically to weather quicker than your average track. So tire wear, especially as they continue to scan and rescan this track, this is already the second scan of this surface in just the 3 years that it's been around. It's already worn in a little bit more, provided more challenges for these drivers, become just that little bit much more technical than your average super speedway track. And also the difficulties of pitting off the backstretch, which statistically we will get to that at some point. All 3 of the previous Atlanta 22 races in Max V have had exactly 3 cautions and a round of green flag pit stops.
At least we're consistent.
Definitely very consistent here. History shows, but, you know, history doesn't always have to repeat itself.
That's right.
It could be an absolute wreck fest. We know we're guaranteed at least 1 caution, though.
Couple drivers shuffling around from top to bottom. Kerry Cleaver coming down in the 18th position down to the bottom now.
Riding on board with Nathan Carroll, repping the race sponsor colors this evening. He's got his choice of lane. The bottom may be where he wants to be here early. Although I wouldn't mind having James Lehman behind me.
I think that there's definitely a lot of guys out here who I would be fine having as the lead truck.
There's a reason that the Max V drivers in Banda Motorsports did so well in Truck 200 Super Speedway races. They know what they're doing. A couple of early storylines to watch. Scott Patton from the back of the field running right now in the 30th position. 2 finishes in a row of 30th or worse for Scott Patton. And by the way, a DNS in the middle of those 3 races. That's why Patton has slid down so far in the pecking order looking at the overall season points. Quite a few drivers had to make pit lane starts as well. Matt Rodolasso, Jordan East, Rod Mitten, Logan Murray, Michael Van, and Chris Voiles. Actually, Van and Voiles didn't actually make it off the grid, it doesn't look like. As here is Lehman slicing and dicing a little bit. Carroll fades back. Barrows now leading the inside line. Lehman with help from Michael Jeans. Genius? We're going with Genius because it sounds like genius. If nothing, a little flattery for the 08 as he is pushing the boss man to the lead. Lehman back down. Working the lanes like Keselowski here at Atlanta.
At a track like Atlanta, I mean, regular super speedway, you want to be pretty much pushing just about all the way around the track. But a track like Atlanta, sometimes it's more beneficial to leave a little bit of a gap, give yourself a little bit bigger toe coming off of the corner, since these corners are just slightly more awkward than your usual super speedway corners.
I'll tell you this much, we are flying through this race, already 11 laps in, chasing the stage break at lap 29. We've only been racing for 5 minutes. These laps can tick away quickly here under green. I want to say hello to everybody that's hanging out with us thus far this evening. Parker Donaldson in the chat. Wish we had you on track, but I'm sure we'll see you back here soon enough. Kyle Kabash is in the chat as well. And the Moticheks, as always, Lisa Carroll. Hello to Bailey in particular. I think we already said hello to Robin. Things jumbling up here just a bit at the front of this field as Lehman now leading Barrows. It's Genius leading the outside. Nathan Carroll boxed in there in the 3rd position on the inside. Seth Foudy and Aiden Kirker working on that top side, and Tyler Granat also in that mix there down low. And the driver that's defending his crown at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway is Greg Mall, and Mall has been on a tear of late. Didn't quite get the result he was looking for last week at Watkins Glen, but that notwithstanding, man, he has been on a roll lately.
Yep, Maul starting in P14. He's up 4 to 5 positions, depending on where he's at the stripe. Oh, and we're wrecking.
Oh, boy. And that is going to be quite a few drivers. I see Heath Smith's Oregon Green in that mix. Actually, Heath Smith made it through. There was somebody else running a shiny green truck, but that looked like a lot of drivers. As caution is out here on lap 15 for the first time this evening, and we will try and pinpoint where this one all kicks off. And that would, I believe, be the green truck of Mason Sweet that I'm going to see here. But that's actually Mason Sweet's gold 11 there. So this is Kyle Stewart, podium finisher last week at the Glen. That's going to be Zachary Groover to his inside. Trying to get a good look at it here. So Stewart off the wall, down in front of Groover. We just said 3 wide is sketchy, and that is why. That was not much of a move down the track. And Stewart goes airborne, brings it back down on all 4. But then Sweet gets tangled right in the evasion lane. They start to stack up. And that was Brad Slagle's green truck that we saw going. It collects Joshua Fracker. Trent Drum is in there. I mean, the track is not quite blocked, but it may as well be. That is quite a bit of damage for a lot of these drivers. Let's rack this one back up and see what we can see. from Joshua Fracker's point of view. Back it up just a little bit further. Catch it in real time. Watch the top side there. Kyle Stewart leading a little bit of a third lane. Just a little skim of the wall there down in front of Groover. And it's going to envelop the track. Fracker trying to check up. Slagle and company can't quite get it wound up in time. And that is damage to fix here. I mean, there are a lot of upsides to an interesting superspeedway racing venue like this. One of the downsides for sure is you are more than likely going to pick up damage over the course of this race. And with a shorter track here, only 1.5 miles and some change, you do not have much time to fix damage, especially with a interesting pit road entry that is going to slow these drivers down just that little bit more. You really don't have much time to fix any damage here.
Yeah, I've always said sometimes short tracks are easier than these super speedways that are awkward like this.
So we're pacing under our first caution of the night. Again, we're chasing the stage at lap 29, so we'll see the yellow laundry again before too much longer. James Lehman, the race leader. Nathan Barrows in second. Tyler Granat in third. Nathan Carroll, Michael Genius, your top 5. Sorry to Heath Smith fans. Hopefully it didn't give you too much of a scare there, but to be fair, very similar looking truck between him and Brad Slagle, just at a glance. Shiny and green. So Slagle will go a lap down, getting some damage fixed here. But Heath Smith is still inside the top 10, running in the 6th position. Seth Foudy, CJ McLaughlin, Aiden Kirker, and Dakota Floyd now the top 10. Justin Michael is close to the mix. He's certainly right in the drop zone here in 11th. Will Kirk will line up to his outside. Great to have Will back in the field here this evening. It's been a number of weeks since we've seen driver 9 here in Max V. Jack Watson, Omar Rodriguez then on row 7. There is Scott Patton on the outside of row number 8 with Chris Sargent to his inside. Lights are back on the pace truck. Go ahead.
Speaking of similar looking trucks, can't help but point out that Nathan Burrows and Josh Longbonds are both repping the pink trucks for the month of October.
Love that. I forgot it's October. This is the month I was born. Still feels like August in Illinois, at least for another few days anyway. Yep,
we still feel like August until about Christmas.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you do. You can keep your humidity, though. I don't want it. So
line back up 2 to go.
Yeah, we should be coming back here this time. Again. Yeah, Rob Martin in the chat says, ouch. Definitely an ouchie. Definitely an ouchie. Check it in. I think everybody other than Chris Voiles is out on track at the moment. That's what my software is showing me. Software also bugs out a little bit anytime there are more than 30 trucks on the track, and we started with 42 tonight, so. Doesn't always enjoy, as much as we like, and the league admins like having big full fields like this, SDK Gaming does not quite enjoy it as much as we do. Ooh, 7 minutes optional for Rob Martin. That's one thing to do that at Talladega or Daytona, but 7 minutes optional here at Atlanta. Even over the course of 98 laps, that is, you're going to be hard-pressed to get all that fixed. With only one guaranteed caution between now and the end of the race. $11 laps to go when we get back to the stripe here in our opening stage. James Lehman and Nathan Barrows, your top 2, Granat, Carroll, Janus Smith, Foudy, McLaughlin, Kirker, and Floyd, the top 10. Back to it. Good jump for Lehman, but a good jump is not always what you want here at the super speedways. As here comes drivers with a run. It's Granat. Granat is going to stay tucked in. Nathan Carroll will not. Carroll ducks to the outside. Genius is going to go with him.
Lots of shaking up on this restart. Burrow's going to cycle all the way back to 5th. Momentarily 3 wide. Heath Smith on that outside of Foudy. Justin Michael up 7 positions now inside of the top 10.
There's Michael making a move from the bottom to the top. Leaves a gap down low behind Aiden Kirker as Jack Watts will try and fill it, but Kirker down on that apron into the turns.
Nathan Carroll now to the bottom officially in the lead of this race.
That leaves Genius now the leader with Nathan Barrows now behind him. Foudy third on the top side with Justin Michael behind him. Top 4 on the bottom, Carroll, Lehman, Granat, and Kirker.
Top side is starting to build momentum here. Genius pushed by Burrows. Carroll pushed by Lehman.
I mean, listen to how little throttle Heath Smith is applying here down the backstretch. It is maybe half throttle. He is leaving about a truck length up to the driver in front of him, but still, he is pedaling.
How about
Shuffle
Scott
up front.
Patton?
Yeah,
They're
how
behind
about
Dakota Floyd.
How about Scott Patton? Almost up into the money here for the stage points. Let's watch the wheel here for Patton. You can cheat a little bit off the hood cam, but this is what Scott Patton himself is seeing right now. I think it's a testament that Patton has gained 27 positions over the course of this race, because how do you make your way forward when this is what you see in front of you?
I think the only way is 3 wide. Oh, Carroll's early up there.
They are getting after it at the front of this field. 3
Three
wide. Carroll shuffled out. Barrows pushing through the middle.
Oh, Carroll into the wall.
And Carroll is going to go backwards here in a hurry. He is definitely going to be on the outside looking in for stage points as they are 4 wide trying to get underneath that 63 truck. It can happen that quickly. Justin Michael, one by one, picking his way up towards the front of this field. Third now on the outside.
It is now just about clear. Genius and Lehman gonna have the run back on them.
2 laps to go in the stage. Michael Janus in his debut tonight with Max V on the inside of Nathan Barrows in his second Max V race. Pushed by 2 veterans, Foudy on the outside, Lehman on the inside. Coming up on a slower truck, Trent Drum. We'll see where he goes. 1 lap to go. Drum stays down low on the track. It's going to cause some congestion and confusion.
And they're
And they're wrecking. Caution is out. Patton is involved. Dakota Floyd is involved. Jack Watts is in there.
Oh, man. Rod Mitten. Rob Haynes.
Rob Haynes. These are a lot of our super speedway heavyweights here. And then
Greg Mall involved.
Mall, the defending Atlanta winner. I mean, take about the top 10 in the betting odds and throw them out the window after this one, seemingly. Lots of damage spread around some of the heavy hitters. How about this one? Heavy hits for the heavy hitters. If you like that, you might be the only one. Looking for where we can even find this crash. It actually doesn't even show me that there was a crash. Obviously there was. We might have to do this the hard way. We're just going to have to manually rip it all the way backwards. That will be the stage as James Lehman will win it. Okay, well, we get to see it in reverse first. Let's go up to the 77 of Jack Watts. I don't think it's going to start with him, but he's probably in the right area. Everybody gets checked up and jacked up a little bit there by the 14 of Trent Drum. There is Drum, and actually it is going to be Jack Watts. That was a lucky guess. Drum up the track into Watts. Watts up into Floyd, into Patton. Rob Haynes piles in. There's Chris Sargent. There's Mason Sweet. Kyle Stewart for the second time. There's Tyler Hesseling in the mix. A few other drivers will make some contact. Drivers just slamming on the brakes, trying to get through. I think that actually is Heath Smith this time in the bright green. I mean, that is a lot of damage for some drivers that are up there in the points. I don't think it's going to affect Dakota Floyd all that much. Certainly that is not good news for Jack Watts, who was literally tied on the cut line coming into tonight. And again, since this didn't actually mark as a crash, we got to back it up manually here. Let's go looking for, let's see what Mason Sweet sees out of the windshield of his truck in his Max V debut here this evening. On board with the 11, who will be in his second crash of the night. Yeah, you can hear him on the brakes, coming down through the gears, but there is no way he is going to get that stopped. Nick Pena, the other debutant, is involved in that accident. Yikes. So I believe everybody should have been on and off pit road. Will Kirk is now the race leader. Something tells me if we're 2/3 of the way through our average caution count, only 1/3 of the way through the race, we're probably going to get more than one caution from here on out. That's just a guess.
I think that's a pretty educated guess.
Don't ever claim to be educated. But I've made an educated guess or time or two.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Wilkirk being the leader, I do believe that he came in below the commitment line on the backstretch and then pulled back up onto the track in the middle of 3 and 4.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure if he will have a black flag or not for that. I would presume he would for an unsafe pit exit.
Now, my question is, obviously he doesn't have an EOL penalty, so he either has no penalty or he has either a pass-through or a stop and hold that will allow him to keep this position. Either way, that is an interesting move regardless of the circumstances here, as Kirk will lead him back, not yet having made a pit stop, I think.
That is correct.
Green flag. He's got to be light in the tank. Kirk with help from Barrows. Lehman dropping back to Janus, and Kirk are on the top side. Foudy, a little push in the pusher action up front. And it is 4 cars locking bumpers into turn number 3 there down low. Just for a split second, Granat rolls off. And Kirk stays on the track, so I think he might be in the clear, at least temporarily. Lehman coming back with Janus on the top side. And, Barrows sneaking up in front of the 50. That gets Lehman a little bit out of shape.
Yeah, definitely want to wait as long as possible to fill that position. But sometimes you can wait too long and get the guy behind you all out of shape.
Anybody that says super speedway racing is all luck and no skill is wrong. Don't listen to him. He's a fine dancier.
Ryan Nardone below the line on the backstretch. Very tight coming through the tri-oval. Or the quad oval, rather.
If Kirk did have a penalty, he'd have to pit on this lap. It does not look like he's going to have to do that. So now it's just a question of how many laps he's got in the tank, unless he snuck in on us under the first caution, which is not impossible. But I don't see a pit stop. My software also doesn't even tell me who all is running on the track right now. So, I don't think it's keeping track of things very well. And neither am I.
iSoftware does not show him to have a pit cycle either. However, I do know that the weird buggy thing iRacing does where it doesn't register in the tail of the field also does not register on my software.
There you go. So I think we've got the same problem. Granat was thinking about sticking it 3 wide there between Janus and Foudy, and look how out of shape those two were. That would have been a disaster for the 18 truck. Been quite the interesting race day mobile detailing 150 this evening here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And no, we will never cave on this channel and call it anything other than Atlanta Motor Speedway. You can look at the walls if you want the real name.
Just about even across the line. Burrows still holding the lead. Very few times can I speak from experience on leading at any point in a race. However, I can speak from experience here. Leading the outside line is rather difficult, especially if you have no communication with the driver that's pushing you.
Looks so calm on the Nathan Barrows windshield here. But then if you look out the rear, it's a hornet's nest. Both lanes working for some separation. How about a familiar face now creeping into the top 10 for the first time tonight? Mike Milfelt Jr. Winner here back in the playoffs in 2024 for his only career Max V victory up to this point. As Burrows now is clear. Nathan Barrows leading the inside. James Lehman down with help from Michael Genus once again. Justin Michael back into the top 10. About the only one of the favorite drivers, quote unquote, to not get any damage in that last accident.
Oh, we're 3 wide further back. Very briefly, Nathan Carroll was 3 wide. Here comes Kirk.
Here comes Will Kirk. Kirk in by himself here. Now, the crucial thing to point out here is that you are not required to go pit road speed until you get to this cone on the inside of the infield. Right there, you have to actually hit speed. You can go as fast as you want on the flat, but you have to stay within the boundaries of the white line on the inside of the double red and white line. So that changes things a little bit. James Lehman now is clear on Nathan Barrows for the lead down low. Top line thrown into a little bit of flux as Genus now will lead it. Side by side for third. Looks like that is Aiden Kirker. Behind him, Justin Michael. And Mike Milfelt up there as well.
Topside starting to slowly come back together.
It's hard work trying to lug this line along, but once you get that energy moving, it's hard to beat this topside.
I think one thing that may be holding this topside up is the occasional look from Justin Michael and Mike Milfelt all the way to the wall on corner entry. Breaks the toe just a little bit off of Kirker's rear bumper.
And you're not wrong, and Michael is leaving some space up to Kirker. I think the other thing I'd point out as well, it may not be as much of an issue at Atlanta as it has been at Daytona and Talladega with this new truck package, but these trucks are susceptible to overheating. And if you overheat the truck for too long or very hot very quickly, that motor will explode, and it will be everybody's problem very quickly. Just ask poor, I believe, Austin Holyfield in the Venom Truck Series a couple of weeks ago, as well as Jared Wishon here in Max V. They both had that issue.
Yep, my very own teammate blew up pushing me at Talladega.
Yeah, happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, Austin Holyfield. Sorry to bring that up.
Had some very delicious cake at work today.
Nice. They didn't send me any cake.
Not sure it would be good by the time it gets to you.
Nah, I'd be fine.
Have to just send it in the middle of winter.
There you go. Coming up on another lap truck. It didn't go particularly well last time. Trent Drum kept it all the way on the bottom, but man, there is just nowhere to go to get around slower traffic here. Traffic needs to be in communication with the leaders here to not cause any further issues. Even if you go all the way up by the wall, you're really not safe. Oh, Mike Milfelt pounded the wall. That was a hard shot. Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of Jared Wishon, he had a front row seat to that as CJ McLaughlin is right up onto the 155's door.
Boy, and that's really going to shake up the energy throughout this field.
Yeah, things are a bit staggered right now for sure. The 08 of Genius still in this top side. It's still slow going, but this bottom line is fractured just a bit, and they are a little bit more grouped up on this top side. They might have an opportunity here to get something rolling.
And Milfold, another scrape of the wall there off of 4.
To your point from a minute ago, I definitely think Justin Michael is stunting the progress of the outside line here just that little bit. Still keeping even with him. Here is a line of about 7 trucks that these lead packers are going to catch here momentarily. That is Schlegel, Martin, Watts, Patton, Mall, and Nick Pena as well, I believe. Actually, no, not Nick Pena. Josh Longbonds. Yes, thank you. So how will this pack ingest that? It's easy to coordinate with 1, maybe 2 drivers, but everybody will have a different idea of how to attack this from that incoming pack of lap trucks. Good luck.
I am shaking in my boots if I was James Lehman at this point.
Definitely. If I'm somebody from, 6th on back, I'm probably worried here.
I was about to say, actually, correction. Lehman is probably okay since he's single file. Watt's going to bring it to the pit road.
That'll be an improper pit entry for Watts. He may just be thrown in the towel here, but still that leaves 6 trucks here. About to be overtaken by the leader. And they are all but 1 going to come down pit road here. That helped. The holdout is Brad Schlegel, but look what it did to this pack. I mean, almost single file. Now drivers starting to get fanned back out. Now getting around Schlegel. 3 wide and door to door. There was 1 up in the wall. That was McLaughlin. McLaughlin now on the outside at 3 wide. Schlegel nearly spinning it down there on the apron, trying to keep out of the way.
Oh, we're shaking up.
Boy.
Not ingenious.
Oh. Barrows just about had a grove full of Lehman there. James came down with an inch to spare. So I believe we restarted on lap 33 or 34. We got to be getting somewhat close to pit stops here, I would imagine, in the next 10 to 15 laps.
Yeah, we should be rounding lap 30 the next time by. So I'm thinking more so within maybe 5 or 6 laps than anything, especially for these drivers out front.
We saw Kirk stretch it decently far. But certainly it'll be, that was with 2 cautions. It will certainly be sooner rather than later that most of these drivers will have to find their way onto pit road. Mike Milfelt was looking to make a move there on Seth Foudy on the outside, but will drop back into line as this top side reforms and tries to rally here late in this green flag run. A couple of drivers starting to look a little loose here. Genius, I think, more so clipped the apron there through turns 3 and 4, but these drivers certainly look to have their hands full all of a sudden.
Yeah, one notably being Milfeld, who has tagged the wall quite a few times now. Oh, and McLaughlin now up into the wall.
Yeah, if you're going to be fighting a loose condition like you can and often do here at Atlanta. Oh, it's Chris Voiles up into the wall to the outside of Mike Milfelt there. Voiles going a lap down. You definitely don't want any aero damage if you're going to be fighting a loose condition. That's the long and short of it. Lehman and Barrow's going to go to the top side, but now they have too wide traffic in front of them.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, Granat!
Granat!
We are still green, but Granat is wrecked. Still green. Uncoordinated lap traffic here. And now the caution. My guess is that Granat probably pulled slow onto the track. And no, he's still down low, so...
He did indeed, when he flipped it around,
Okay.
rolled his rear tires across the line, yes.
Well, that will definitely do it, and that will put us under the caution here. For the third time, and that is good timing. We'll be awfully close to being able to make it to the end of this race with a stop here under yellow. So you see, Foudy is saving that truck. Granat is trying to check up and move underneath of the 26. As he's checking up, he moves down right into the path of Genus. Oh, and Granat goes for a 50-50 board slide there on the inside wall. As I think they tweaked some of the aero physics on this truck on the last update, because all of a sudden the blowover physics are kind of back. They dampened them a little bit, and now these trucks are wanting to take flight again. Let's go kickbot cam here. Let's see what Granat sees. You can see Foudy into the wall, loose. He has a handful. Just trying to move down, and Genus is there. And Granat will slide down the backstretch wall. And then as he gets it back in motion, he'll trigger the caution.
Not entirely sure what happened to Foudy. Looked just fine, gaining momentum, and then all of a sudden the truck just veers straight up to the wall off of 2.
These trucks can be awfully wicked here at Atlanta.
I don't think it's just Atlanta.
Trucks are not very nice. And that was a not very nice thing, that's for sure. Here comes the race off of pit road. Lehman and Barrows entering as the top two. They'll leave as the top two, and Lehman wins the race off. Barrows out in second. Justin Michael Janus, and Aiden Kirker, the top 5. Mike Milfelt, CJ McLaughlin, who've mentioned a few times, having a nice night tonight inside the top 10. He comes out 7th. Jared Wishon in 8th. Mason Sweet, who's been in 2 of the 3 accidents tonight, somehow is running in 9th. Seth Foudy will slip back to 10th, I would imagine. Getting just a bit of a hammering and smoothing out of the right side door there will cost him an extra couple of tenths or a full second or 2.
Gonna have a handful of trucks staying out here, presumably looking for a wave around.
I think the lap trucks last time, and that last big group more than anything, were just making a pit stop to get out of the way of the leaders. I'll put them a little bit off cycle here, but they should be able to get back onto the lead lap, which is nice. Jack Watts, I believe, is 2 laps down, as he will have had an improper pit road entry penalty. So this will put him back to 1. This should give us, I think, 33 drivers on the lead lap. Back to Scott Patton in that 33rd position. I think all but 2 trucks are still running. It actually might only be Trent Drum that we have lost so far, as everybody else's laps are still counting, at least for the moment. 31 laps to go when we get back to the stripe. What's the vibe?
Fear? Honestly, not sure. It depends on where you are in the field. I mean, if you're towards the front of this field, I mean, if you're probably inside the top 10, I would say you're probably feeling pretty comfortable. But if you're any further back than that, I would be a little bit worried.
We're in the closing stretch here of the Race Day Mobile Detailing 150 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag is out once again. And Nathan Barros is not getting a good start there on the outside. Will tuck right into line behind Justin Michael, who will pull in behind his teammate James Lehman at the front of the field. Everybody abandoning ship here on that top line. Michael Genus gets down low.
Carker now going to pick up the outside. So is McLaughlin.
CJ McLaughlin there in the 91. Getting ready to push and nearly comes across the front bumper of Mike Milfelt there. It's one thing to establish two lanes, but even as fluid as things are on this restart, often one driver's idea of where this second lane is going to be might differ from another's. I think McLaughlin is maybe wanting to run a little bit higher than what Mike Milfeld is. And those two have nearly crossed bumpers a couple of times here on this restart. Top line is rolling decent, though. Kirker looking to get to the outside of Justin Michael here. And now maybe... Oh, the 90 of Barrows was trying to sneak a peek to the inside of Justin Michael, who I imagine... probably just ducking out of line to get a little bit of air to the nose of this 87. He is right up on Lehman here.
And how about the 10 of Kyle Stewart? Almost blowing over earlier in the race, now back inside the top 10.
I don't think flips mean anything anymore. Steve Froman finished 7th on Tuesday night, and he rolled over 3 times.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Hard to the
man.
wall further back.
I'm not even sure who that was.
I think that was Rob Haynes. It was.
Oh, dear. Got no notification or anything. But that truck is blown up. Rob Haynes' night is over, as that is a track record 4th caution here this evening. Let's see what we can see here for the 3-time Talladega winner. Haynes up into the wall. Looked like all by himself in the quad oval there. Down the track into a door and back up into the outside wall. I mean, Haynes already had some damage from an earlier crash. But, man, that is strange.
Boy, I don't know how that truck is still running.
No, I don't either. Well, it's about to not be as soon as he can pull it onto pit road. And Haynes just moved up the track right at the exact wrong time in the quad over there. Front tires couldn't keep up and plowed straight into the wall. I would imagine most drivers will stay out on the track here. That's pit under the last caution. I would imagine the wave around drivers from the last caution will all be down pit road here this time. And we did see a few of them coming down. Rob Haynes, Will Kirk, Billy Blumgardner, Jordan Neese, Greg Mull, Jack Watts all in under this caution.
And unfortunately, not so sure we will see Rob Haynes again tonight.
No, it certainly does not look like that. Hey, well, we got a second. You and I have an interesting opportunity to do a little bit of a plug for a cool little project that you and I and Matt Schlosser have coming up here in the near future. In about a month's time, Friday night, Truck 200 and the Dirt Track and Sim Racing League, as well as a Matt Schlosser Special Stage Series, are going to combine forces for a little dirt track mini-series with the NASCAR trucks. 6 races on the ovals with heat races and dirt track points and the whole lot. It's going to be really interesting.
I am, I think excited is not even an adequate term. Been hinting to as many people as I can without spilling the beans.
Certainly, we've dropped a couple of hints here and there, but it's official. The Dirt 200 Special is on the way here in about a month's time. We'll kick it off at Knoxville in the beginning of November. It will be here on Turn 200. I get to see my dirt track announcing chops here live on the channel, and I'll have the booth all to myself and call some good old-fashioned truck racing. Mr. Motichek will be out there on the track. So will Mr. Matt Williamson and all of his dirt racing prowess, and we'll see who else we can wrangle up and get out there on the track. I would imagine there'll be a few Max V guys in there. A couple of them really like the dirt oval stuff. A couple of them, I guarantee, we will never see, and they'll never even give it a second thought. They didn't particularly care for some of the dirt racing that Max V or Truck 200 have done in the past. Lucky for them, they get to do it here in a couple weeks anyways. But, yep, keep your eye out for that. If you want to be a part of it, come join our Discord. Link is in the description. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. Well, back to the task at hand. We switched to laps to go. It'll be 24 at the stripe. And if we go green, which, to be fair, is a big if, but if we go green, these 24 laps are going to tick by in a hurry. I'm sure the chess match is already in play. Lots of drivers making mental moves here in the final moments of calm.
You asked me last restart, Tommy. I think I would be even more terrified of losing out on my chance to win this race, seeing James Lehman and Justin Michael both controlling the front row of each line.
Teammates, and not only that, but 2 super speedway winners, Lehman and Michael. They know how to get it done. Nathan Barrows and Aiden Kirker, CJ McLaughlin and Michael Genus, those 4 rather, going to be the big X factor here. So we've never seen him super speedway race before here at XV. Back underway. Lehman with a good jump. Barrows pulls even with Michael, but Barrows has no help right now. Lots of space to McLaughlin back there on the inside. This is the best the top line has looked as there's some dissension in the ranks down low. Michael was clear for a split second, but Lehman rallies back on the inside.
Oh, lots of shuffling up. Milfeld down to the bottom.
Milfeld's been trying to work both lanes. He might be stuck down here for a minute, though. Bottom line starts to surge back ahead as Milfeld and McLaughlin both are looking a little loose.
Does not surprise me to see this field probably the most packed up we've seen it all night.
Certainly all that space we were leaving at the beginning of this race is gone. These drivers are just about nose to tail.
Got a couple peaks up to that third line. Now the top side is losing momentum bad.
Michael fading, not even. With your third place runner there on the inside, McLaughlin, as McLaughlin washes up the track. Here's the thing, nobody can hold a straight line here as there goes one in the back. We're back under caution, and that is going to be a decent-sized wreck here. Oh, Chris Voiles, man, that is Concussion City if that's a real card. Oh, my goodness. Driver's still piling in at full speed. Scott Patton is one of them. Alex Howland is destroyed. Kerry Cleaver looks to have gotten a piece of that. David Rigsby may have been involved as well. Michael Van is looking to be out of this race as well. Man, strange set of circumstances here. Not exactly sure what is going to set this one off. I think Howland is the first one to go. It looked to be his truck that made the turn down the hill. And indeed, that is... Oh, looks like they're going to jam up here on this top side. And it's going to be a bump as the top line stacks up. We'll see if we can get the chopper cam here to get a little bit better look at this. Looking for this red truck, and watch Tyler Granat there in the DeWalt 18 as well. Topside is going to check up just a bit. Howland is on the brakes. Granat cannot get slowed up in time, and then Howland, who led his first Max V laps last week at Watkins Glen, and now trying to hang on to this truck. He's going to get another little love tap there from Granat, and at that point, the rear end can get sent around by the wind, let alone another shot. There's Zachary Groover, who's going to take a big shot. So is Kerry Cleaver into the door of Howland, and he will head down the track. That's Ryan Nardone with a narrow escape.
Howland takes a couple more heavy licks after this.
Yes, indeed. Here's Chris Voiles. I mean, that is flush on the driver door. That would knock you unconscious if that happened in real life. And then looking for... I thought it was Scott Patton, but it's not showing me Patton on the track, so I'm not 100% sure. No, here comes Patton trying to get slowed up and into Michael Van at upwards of 140 miles an hour there. I mean, it's a big-time shot, and Scott Patton's skid continues, as this will be another finish outside of the top 30. His third in a row with a DNS in the middle there. It has been a rough 4-week stretch for Patton, to say the very least. He'll hope to turn it around next week in Chicagoland. Michael Genius will pit from the front of this field under this caution. As you can hear Lehman as he goes by, little clutch and coast. Saving for an opportunity at overtime, perhaps. We thought we were going to be close but good to the original number, even with a couple cautions thrown in here, you know. There's only one way to add more fuel, but you could certainly save some.
Boy, and just watching that wreck back from Howland's point of view, just pinballed around. Oh.
I mean, you know how quickly these checkups happen at the super speedway tracks. That one came out of nowhere. Not that the top side was rolling particularly well, but man, it jammed up in a hurry. One driver we want to mention because he was running at the front of this field contending for the lead and got into the wall before the stage. We haven't called him out since. Nathan Carroll's going to restart in 15th. Which, at Daytona and Talladega, not a bad place to be. Even with 16 laps to go here at Atlanta, that is going to be tough sledding. Especially with how these drivers like to crash and explode. It can happen anywhere at any time. About a 50-50 split between familiar faces and new faces at the front of this field. James Lehman to the inside of Nathan Barrows. C.J. McLaughlin to the inside of Justin Michael. Aiden Kirker to the inside of Mike Milfield. Jared Wishaw, Mason Sweet, Kyle Stewart, Seth Foudy, the top 10. Lots of drivers who have never won in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series at the front of this field, gunning for the win with 16 laps to go. Back underway. McLaughlin. Yeah, McLaughlin spun the tires there hard. Barrows will have an opportunity and can't clear. But again, the big jump, not always good news.
No, McLaughlin going to go to the top now.
Lehman.
Kirker.
Freight train. CJ McLaughlin leads, but he's between two lanes. Finally will commit to the inside to get in front of Lehman. Barrows now off the nose of Justin Michael, trying to bring this topside back into play.
Michael is pushing hard. If I had my guess, Michael wants to push Barrows clear and then ease this topside back to allow Lehman to take control of that outside line.
Oh, trouble
back under
somewhere.
caution.
There is the People's Champion, Bill Paradise, around into turn number 1. Don't see anybody else. But that will put us back into the yellow for the 6th time. Let's see how this one gets started. This is another driver into the wall on the outside of the quad oval. Paradise will get tagged and sent down into Logan Murray's lap. I think that was Nick Pena that got into Paradise after Paradise bounced off the wall. Excellent job by Billy Baumgardner to get through there. Also David Rigsby in the 333. Nobody else other than Paradise and Pena going to get, and Logan Murray going to get a shot at that. Is Paradise already in the wall? Let's see what gets him up here first. If this is going to be another one of those cases that befell Rob Haynes. Just a bit too high up into the gray, into the quad oval, or if he's going to have some help. And it looks like Paradise is just going to drift up that way into the wall, careens down back into the path of Pena. Not much that the 19 could do there. And certainly nothing that Logan Murray could do, as that fell right into his lap. But it's contained to just those three. For as many trucks as were around, that's a minor miracle.
Boy, and Tyler Granat and Michael Genus got into it after the caution down the backstretch.
Very interesting. We'll try and see if we could find this one. Genius, remember, was running inside the top 10 and came in to pit under the last caution, putting him towards the back of the field. So the crash has already happened. They're checking up for the caution. Granat has Genius sized up in the 08. Yeah. Oh, boy. I don't know what that's all about. Well,
Definitely an odd one.
I would say it looks like a hardware malfunction if he didn't keep going afterwards. So, that one's for the stewards. Not much speculating is going to do about that. Ten to go. When we come back to the restart, I would imagine at least we're going to double up here this time. Nathan Barrows and C.J. McLaughlin at the front of this field. Now it is Michael and Lehman side by side, not on the front row, but on the second row. Mike Milfelt now into fifth with Aiden Kirker to his outside. Mason Sweet, Jared Wishon, Seth Foudy, and Kyle Stewart, the top 10.
Out of everything that we have seen in this race, the driver who sat on pole is still leading 88 laps later.
And he really hasn't left the fray all night. I mean, he's
Inside
been
the top 6 at least.
Yeah, he's definitely been in the thick of it all night.
I think at the current moment, Mike Milfelt is the highest mover, 39th to 5th.
Jared Wishon has had a decent clip through the field here as well, but certainly Mike Milfelt is the man to beat right now for the hard charger. 10 laps to go in the race day mobile detailing, 150. Barrows fires were back underway.
Once again, a big jump for the leader. Not always the best thing. Outside line gonna get lined up pretty quickly.
I think Barrows may be a little bit more cognizant of it. Backs up to Justin Michael, but Michael's still going to take a run to the outside. Now Mike Milfelt will pull up onto the back bumper here of the 90. And we are at a dead heat out of turn number 4, coming to 9 to go. Michael pulling ahead around the outside of the quad oval. He is clear to move down if he wishes. Now McLaughlin is going to leave him out. CJ with the slingshot engaged.
Don't want to say it was planned, but now we got the teammates together up top.
Certainly a good opportunistic move for McLaughlin, and a good set of circumstances, at least for Michael and Lehman to be working together here. McLaughlin now with Barrows on the back bumper, and Mike Milfelt third in line there on the bottom. It's Justin Michael, James Lehman, and Aiden Kirker on the top side.
Outside losing momentum. Milfelt now going to look to take the lead of that outside line.
Here comes the Michael and Michael show. Mike Milfelt being led, or rather leading the 87 of Michael around as there's a couple of drivers scattering in the back of the field. I think we're still good to go. You're right, this top side is languishing just a bit here. Maybe not. I might have spoke too soon. Here comes Justin Michael pushing Mike Milfelt. They draw even through 1 and 2.
Should get a good run off the outside here down the back straight.
Five laps to go. CJ McLaughlin to the inside of Mike Milfelt. Barrows and Michael on the second row of pushers. Mason Sweet has crept up into the top 5 here. Seth Foudy, James Lehman in the mix. Very orderly chaos, but I think our order is about to get thrown out the window.
Even keel now at the front of this pack. Outside line slowly building the momentum up.
They've worked so hard to get up to this point. All it's going to take is one slip as there's one in the wall further back.
Oh, and they're wrecking.
They are wrecking. Will Kirk is involved. Caution is out. Ryan Nardone is in it. Tyler Hessling. Nick Pena, I think, had a big shot, and that truck is ruined. So is the 9 of Will Kirk. So we are under the caution for the 7th time. We might get close to matching the all-time total from the other 3 races combined in this race alone. Getting pretty close. Let's see how this one gets going. It's already underway as we saw Tyler Hessling into the wall. And I think it's contact from Rod Mitten that is not only going to put Hessling in the wall, it's also going to jam up Will Kirk and Nick Pena. Is Parker Donaldson in the chat saying we're going to overtime? Yes, we are indeed. I mean, Hessling already a little bit out of shape, and an offset or push from Rod Mitten is not going to help that. Kirk then into Pena. Pena down in front of Omar Rodriguez. Ryan Nardone is going to finish off Will Kirk here. I haven't said Nardone's name a ton here tonight. I think Nardone is going to escape this without much damage. Nope, he's headed for the outside wall. And that is a big-time shot there for the 98. So, let's back this up once again and get Hessling's point of view here from the kickpot. Riding behind his teammate, Kyle Stewart. Fast hands can only do so much here in the tight confines of Atlanta. We'll pull it down off the wall and get underneath of Kirk and Pena. Well, Kirk at least still pacing. As C.J. McLaughlin scored the leader at the time of the caution. In front of Nathan Barrows, who rides in second. Mike Milfeld Jr. in third. Justin Michael will line up in fourth. Mason Sweet in fifth. James Lehman in sixth. Seth Foudy in seventh. Aiden Kirker in the eighth position. Heath Smith in ninth. And Nathan Carroll may be in 10th. It might be Jared Wishon. Either way, one of those two will be in 10th, and the other one will be in 11th here. 23 drivers on the lead lap, I think. Maybe as many as 26. Depending on if Pena, Nardone, and Hessling can stay on the lead lap. Tyler Hessling, I don't think will stay on the lead lap, so I think we'll be down to 25 with Nardone and Pena. You never know what can happen here, especially for Ryan Nardone, who is points racing. You definitely want to be on the battlefield here with 2 laps to go. If that big wreck happens and the caution doesn't get thrown, or it happens on the final lap, you know, you see the dollar signs get a little bit brighter in the eyes as the pay windows open. But the pay window is definitely about to open here in the Race Day Mobile Detailing 150 for C.J. McLaughlin, Nathan Barrows, Justin Michael, Mike Milfeld, James Lehman, and Mason Sweet, the top 6. Statistically, they've got the best crack at it, but anybody that is running on the lead lap, on the final lap, will have an opportunity to win this race should things go catastrophically wrong, as they are often one to do here at Atlanta. First of a potential 3 overtime opportunities on the way here at Atlanta. C.J. McLaughlin and Nathan Barrows in pursuit of their first career Max V victories. The Michaels on road to looking to steal. Green flag. I think both of the front row starters lagged back just a bit to keep things packed up behind, and packed up they are, nose to tail. No such thing as elbow room in this front pack. Back to Kyle Stewart in 13th. They're all in touch. As the outside starts to prevail a little, but not enough for Barrows to get down in front of McLaughlin. Looking to make it to the white flag. They bang doors.
Milfeld going 3 wide up the middle.
1 lap to go. Mike Milfeld up the middle, 3 wide. Barrows with no help. Now here's Lehman to the outside to try and aid.
No, he's going to come back to the middle. Genus now to the outside. Oh,
Milfeld! He'll take Justin Michael with him. Things clear out at the front of the field. Still under green. Coming to the checkers. Mason Sweet in second. C.J. McLaughlin Sweet goes to the outside, but it's C.J. McLaughlin to hang on for the win. C.J. McLaughlin is a winner in the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series. He takes the race day mobile detailing 150. Mason Sweet and Seth Foudy will be on the podium as it all falls apart on the final lap for Mike Milfelt, Justin Michael, and a handful of other drivers that'll get swept up in the madness. We'll take a look at it all here in a moment. But the celebrations are underway for C.J. McLaughlin. Here in the 91, a first-time winner of the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series, and he will park it at Victory Lane, or rather at the start-finish line, and burn her down. How about that? What another wild finish we had here. Man, talk about a gutsy move for Mike Milfelt that almost paid off. But as loose as these trucks are, we figured something might be working behind the scenes here against this 155. Let's watch again at full speed. Milfelt up the middle is going to uproot Nathan Barrows. And you can see Michael a little bit off center here down the backstretch, leaning out to that right side. That is kind of where you want to be most times. Milfelt, I would imagine, is not really trying to keep this truck very straight. I'm sure he's focusing more on keeping his door pressed against that 91 truck. And it's just, I mean, it is not much at all that is going to set this in motion here. I mean, Justin Michael, just an inch or two down the track, hooks on the right rear quarter panel, or rather that the point of the tailgate where it meets the quarter panel. That's what's going to send the 155 into the wall. Nathan Barrows is phase shifting literally inside of the truck underneath of him, which is Jared Wishon. I don't know if that's against the rules or not. It's certainly against the rules of physics. And then the run to the checkers here. McLaughlin will put he puts the full truck to the inside there. I'm not sure that is going to make the difference, though. And Mason Sweet trying to get that run to the outside, but just can't quite get it done. As a wild finish here at Atlanta Motor Speedway after a caution-filled night of racing. And it'll be a first-time Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series winner with C.J. McLaughlin taking the win here this evening. We'll get to the full finishing rundown here. With McLaughlin taking the win, Mason Sweet in his debut in the series will coming home in second. Seth Foudy is back on the podium once again. We'll talk to these three gentlemen here in a moment. Aiden Kirker will finish in fourth. James Lehman will round out the top five. Heath Smith in spot number 6. Jared Wishon in 7th. Nathan Barrows in 8th. Nathan Carroll will sneak in for a P9. And Michael Genis, after his incident earlier, will round out the top 10. Matt Rodolasso in 11th. Justin Michael will bring it home in 12th. 13th for Billy Baumgartner. It is 14th for Joshua Fracker. 15th for Kyle Stewart. Omar Rodriguez Jr. in 16th. Zachary Groover in the 17th position. 18th for Rod Minton. Chris Sargent and Will Kirk will round out the top 20. 21st for David Rigsby. It's 22nd for Mike Milfelt. Very disappointing there. Had an opportunity to win. 23rd for Bill Paradise. 24th for Ryan Nardo. Nick Pena in 25th. Dakota Floyd then will round out the top 26. Saying that like that's a thing. Jack Watson 27th. It is 28th for Greg Mull. Brad Slegel and Tyler Hessling the top 30. Logan Murray in 21st. Or rather 31st, 32nd for Tyler Granat, 33rd for Kerry Cleaver, 34th for Alex Down, and 35th for Scott Patton. Chris Foyles, Jordan Neese, Rob Haynes, and Rob Martin, and Josh Longbonds round out the top 40, and 41st and 42nd for Michael Van and Trent Drum. So we'll fade out on the music here and get ready to pull in your podium finishers this evening. And as we do, we'll go ahead and rack up the replay and try and find where Seth Foudy is in line here. Foudy just inside the top 10 here, looking like line it up on the inside of row number 5 here, coming to the final restart. But we'll bring it home in third amidst all the chaos. Welcome back to the podium, and congratulations.
Hey, thanks, Tommy. Appreciate you guys.
I mean, a wild dash to the finish here. We expected nothing less. I mean, was there much strategizing coming to the final restart here, or was it just hold her down and go?
I think the strategy tonight was, as it usually is on tracks like this, is if we could just stay alive, right? So, I mean, we kind of scraped the wall there a little bit. I feel bad for the 18 car. So I want to kind of give a shout out to him, Tyler. He had an amazing race there, first half of the race. And when I scraped the wall, I think he was just trying to avoid me and got a little loose and got turned down the inside wall. So I feel bad for him and that whole thing. But, we worked our way back up towards the front. I was trying to play conservative a little bit. There really wasn't a lot you could do. I mean, I don't think a third lane really transpired a whole lot here tonight. It just seemed like it was just the 2 lanes. And when you're 2 lanes, I mean, you're just hoping that somebody gets bumped out of line or gets bumped to the high side and kind of funnels back or whatever. Once you got kicked out there by yourself, you couldn't do anything. So really the most racy part was at the end of the fuel runs, right? Like the tires were kind of wearing off. You could kind of see a little bit of gapping between the cars. That was probably the opportunity to really make much moves. But I think we only had really one go of that where we had a long stint. So once we got back up towards the front, it was I told Mason that my wife, she does the crew chiefing and spotting for me. So on the restarts, she's always real good about telling me the gaps in the cars, in front of me, right? So like half car length, quarter car length, whatever. So I know how much gap there is and how much I can push and how aggressive I can be. So I knew how much I could be aggressive with Mason. And, we were able to kind of get him up there. And of course, we saw Michael Milfelt jumped out of the lane there. And then that kind of gave me the opportunity to give Mason a good push there to kind of solidify that position. So, we came home in third. I'm tickled pink with that because the alternative is typically wrecked out and finishing somewhere in the back. And it's like a win tonight for me. So,
Joshua, what you got?
Man, I know we talk strategy all the times on super speedways. I think there's 2 types of people on super speedways. You got the guys who are fast in qualifying and can qualify up front, try and stay there all race, and then you got the guys like me who can't put qualifying together. So we just start in the back and try and make our way through. Is there a preferred way to do it for you yourself?
So, kind of going back, in the earlier days, a lot of times that was kind of my strategy, was to kind of hang around out back. I tend to find that when I do that, I end up in more wrecks than if I just kind of get up front and be more aggressive. I'm more alert, so to speak. Sometimes that may sound funny, but like when you go to Talladega or Daytona and you're just kind of riding around the back on a big track like that, I almost kind of I kind of start zoning out a little bit. And so I tend to find that when the accidents do happen or whatever, it's like, oh crap, like, now I find myself in one, or I'm ready to go and I'm just not there mentally to kind of race. So I find that if I, prepare myself right off the get-go and start running, not aggressive, but be more, alert and aware and kind of upfront running, then I tend to do a lot better. And then of course, a lot of times what I'll do too is it's really dependent on what's everybody else around me doing. If they're bouncing around and it looks like they're gonna wreck, then sometimes you just don't have a choice, right? It's like I'm getting out of here before something bad happens. So I kind of just evaluate what's going on around me, and that's typically how I make my decision on what I'm going to do for the night. So I guess you could say, as I've kind of changed some of my racing and things like that, I've gotten more aggressive. I try to prefer to stay up front a little bit more. If I can control a race or get out front, then I like to do that. The bottom lane is typically where I like to run because it gives you an escape route. I mean, those are all the kinds of things that I usually go through my head through a race.
Well, it's great to get to talk to you at the end of the night here. Once again, another podium for you this evening. Congratulations, and let's get some shout-outs in once again before we let you go.
Thanks, Tommy. Yeah, I want to give you guys a big old shout out. Turn 200, fantastic broadcast. Definitely love going back and watching you guys. Joshua, you too, for your broadcasting and stuff. You guys are amazing. I want to give the shout out to the admins here for the work that they put in and everything. It's a great group of guys. We had fantastic racing tonight. There was a few cautions, but I mean, ultimately it was actually extremely clean race for this track and the way that it races. It was extremely clean. So hats off to those guys. Want to give a thanks to my wife in the spotter box, and my family, and Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. So for the blessings that I have and being able to do stuff like this.
All righty, partner. Thank you for the time here tonight. Go celebrate the podium. We'll hope to talk to you again next week in Chicagoland.
Thanks, Tommy. Have a good one, guys.
All right, we go from a driver who's no stranger to Booth 200 to a driver who will make his Booth 200 debut in his Max V debut tonight with a runner-up finish. It's Mason Sweet now in Booth 200. Driver 11 will go P2 tonight. How about it, partner?
Hey, how you guys doing? That was a pleasure to be here tonight. It was kind of crazy. First race here.
I mean, you picked an interesting one to come into, that's for sure. But especially, the night started a little rough, to say the least.
It was rough. I think it was the first two cautions we had. I was in both of them.
So, I mean, what was
the actual ones? But
what was the workload like to try and dig yourself out of that hole to start up the night?
Well, got to the end of stage one there. Got to the stage break there, and really just had a full race reset. Got the truck fixed, and just put my head down and made stuff happen. I felt like one just came right after another. Trying to pick your battles at the right time is really important to try to getting around trucks. Uncomfortable at times because you're going three wide. And it's kind of hard to get that, but
Joshua, what you got?
Landlocked back there.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So I felt landlocked back there.
Yeah,
we made it work.
There's definitely not much space to maneuver here. Joshua, do you got a question?
Yeah, congrats on the podium in your debut. Definitely a good feeling to have. I mean, debut. We don't know much about you. Is the super speedway type racing your thing, or is this more of a one-off thing where you just right place, right time?
I mean, I would like to think I'd do okay at these. But man, it's like sticking your name in a hat and seeing if you pull it out or not. I don't. Could be a one-off. Could be normal. I don't. I feel like it's too early to say.
Well, you certainly did a great job here tonight recovering from the early race troubles. It's great to get to talk to you at the end of the night. Is there anybody you want to shout out or say hi to?
I just gotta shout out all the guys back in the shop. My designer Nick Pena, he had a bit of a rough go at it tonight, but I don't think we'd be here without him, so I'd give it up to him. Yeah, pretty fun being here.
Well, hope you enjoyed it here tonight. Congrats on a strong debut here tonight to go plus 19 for a runner-up finish, and we'll hope to talk to you again next week at Chicagoland.
All right, that should be a pretty good time.
All righty, now we will move on up the pecking order here, and it's a first career victory for C.J. McLaughlin after one green-white checkered and a whole lot of scrambling to get up to the field, or up to the front of the field at the end of the night in start number 4 here in Max V. It's win number 1. How about it?
Do I have to join voice? Do I have to click on that?
No, I don't think so. I can hear you.
Dude, I haven't found Victory Lane in a while, man. I don't know if it's new to be here. I had to get directions from my crew. Where to go?
Well, I mean, it was pretty convincing there. I mean, things sort of happening around your outside there, but I mean, even to get up to that position, I mean, you were making great moves, muscling underneath people and maneuvering the lanes quite well there in the closing laps. I mean, it was a convincing victory.
Yeah, it's like I'm a professional driver or something. Big shout out to my team, Wildish, and everyone. Wildish got me to join this league, and it's been really fun.
I mean, what is the vibe out there with the new Atlanta? We were talking to a couple of drivers. There are a few big numbers of hard chargers through the field. You went +8 tonight. That's nothing to sneeze at for a track that's as fast and also as claustrophobic as this one.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't sneeze on that green, white, checkered, but it's just a lot of white knuckle. You got to be committed to the gas, and these trucks are pretty well planted. So I think the only time it really kind of stepped out was when the tires were kind of gone. But New Atlanta's fun. People love it or hate it, but it is a love-hate for me too, I guess.
Joshua, what you got for the race winner?
Yeah, congrats on the win and being up here with us in the booth. I mean, you had the point on that green, white, checkered restart. Walk us through the thought process on those last 2 laps and everything that shook down.
Dude, as some would say, my truck was as fast as Xfinity 5G, but yeah, it was just protect the bottom. I was hoping that no one got to run to my outside. I thought about having to block the outside. Then fortunately, the Raptor got on the wall. I don't know what happened there, but there was a gold car that was behind me. I just couldn't let him. He looked to the inside for a little bit off of 4, and I just had to block him down the straightaway.
I wonder what the Xfinity equivalent of O'Reilly is going to be for next season. What meme drivers are going to pull out for that? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, this truck was fast here tonight, and certainly was well placed at the end of this one, and looks well placed in victory lane as well. Congratulations on your first Max V victory here tonight, and let's get some shout-outs in.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah, appreciate everyone, and I think everyone raised respect, and that was a lot of fun.
All righty, partner. Well, thanks for the time here tonight. Congrats on the win. Go celebrate. And we'll. Go ahead.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll go party hard. We'll hope to talk to you again next week at Chicagoland.
Dude, take it easy on the party, man. Don't party too hard.
We'll leave the partying to CJ. He earned it after this one here tonight. Man, that was a whale of a race at the front of this field for the win this evening. I hope our sponsor got their money's worth here tonight, because that was a banger.
It definitely was. Atlanta, I mean, it's a track for the ages for sure. But even with the repave, it definitely makes for some pretty dicey racing, pretty good racing. It definitely shakes up there at the end. Venom last season having a green, white, checkered. Now Max V this season having yet another green, white, checkered. Definitely excites. And these drivers in Max V. I mean, I say it every week. I mean, class of their own. I mean, they shake it up. They get down. It's always a blast. Always a pleasure to be up here. Definitely
lots of getting down here this evening, and we'll look forward to doing it again next week. It's kind of my home track. I guess it's my second home track now, Chicagoland Speedway. We'll be back for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series next Thursday night. Between now and then, it's the Venom Truck Series at iRacing Super Speedway next Tuesday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. The Daredevil Series will roll north of the border to Montreal. It's Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the first time in series history with the Daredevils Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And that will bring us back to Chicagoland next Thursday for Max V at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Lively chat. All excited to see Sergey get his first career Max V victory this evening. Robin Motichek, Marilyn Beck, Race Day Mobile Detailing and Coatings. Thanks to them for their sponsorship here this evening. Daniel Carroll, Rob Martin. Who else was in the chat? Parker Donaldson, Kyle Kabash, Lisa Carroll. And I know Zach Magris hopped in there late as well. Thanks to him for stopping by. I think that was it. If I missed you, I'm sorry. And if you didn't comment, thanks for coming. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Thank you to CNC Home Designs as always. And again, thank you to Race Day Premium Detailing and Coatings this evening as well. If you're in the Phoenix, Arizona area and you need detailing and coating and paint restoration, be sure to hit up Race Day Premium Detailing and Coating. And thank them for sponsoring this evening's event here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's all we got for you here tonight. On behalf of the entire MaxV admin team and Mr. Joshua Motichek, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long and congratulations to CJ McLaughlin. First time winner of the MaxV CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.